Hey guys, I'm back with another review, and these types of videos are really just going to be my in-between videos while I'm working on my bigger videos. I said videos way too much. I did a poll on my Twitter account and asking what type of video should be my next big video project, I should say. And the career of topic won. I've done a couple of them. I don't know how many of them are still up after the copyright strike purge, but the one that I'm doing now is going to be a career of, since that's the one that won. If I plan on doing things like this in the future, so if you want any kind of say in what my big projects are going to be, go follow my Twitter account, because that is where I'm going to be doing the polls. While looking for a show to review, I was waiting for one that hit me pretty hard, and the latest one, the February 24th one at Osaka, the night show, had so many good matches that I felt like I should just do a review on this one. The first match was a singles match between Saya and Hazuki. Now, this one caught my eye right from the beginning when I first saw the card and when I was about to watch it. It has so many aspects of it that I'm looking forward to. One, Saya is one of my favorite people to watch right now in terms of the newer ones or the rookies. And Hazuki is always a pleasure to watch. She is amazing at pretty much everything right now. She just needs some refining, but always puts on an entertaining match. One of the best things about Saya is that she is a really good seller for her experience level. I found right from the beginning that was one of her best qualities. So in this match, when she's facing one of the more hard-hitting, stiff-looking wrestlers in the promotion, I felt like this was going to be a very good match. One of the few things that stuck out to me in this match was that during a sequence when Hazuki was going for a drop kick, she seemed to kick way higher, almost into Saya's face. And I've noticed that this is a common trend for Saya, that it happens constantly. And it makes me wonder why. I'm wondering if it's just some kind of muscle memory thing, where because athletes do a certain thing so many times, they don't even have to think about it anymore. Their body just remembers how to do it. And I'm wondering if they have spent so many times drop kicking at certain levels that now that they have someone who is so much shorter than everyone else, it's really hard for them to adjust because they're not thinking about it. They're just doing their regular drop kick motion. I'm very curious what you guys think about that, because I'm pinning my bets on muscle memory problems on why Saya keeps getting drop kicked in the face. Either way, this match was really great for an opener. It did everything it needed to be. It set you up for the matches to come, and it was very entertaining. The match ended with Hazuki submitting Saya with what I believe is called a crippler. I don't know the generic name of it. I tried to research this a bit. I know that Chris Benoit used to use it as his finisher, called the crossface crippler. And yeah, I'm not really sure if the generic name for this move is just crossface or not. That is what I went with. So let me know if it has a different generic name, but I'm pretty sure it's just crossface. I would show you a still of it, but I was specifically asked by Stardom not to show finishes. So I don't know if that applies to still pictures of the move that finished it, or if they were just talking about GIFs for like Twitter and whatnot. I'd rather not risk it. So until I get the okay on showing the stills, you're just gonna have to take my descriptions, unfortunately. The next match was a fatal four-way, and honestly, even though this one has one of my favorite wrestlers in Stardom in it, it didn't really catch my eye, and you'll probably see why once I tell you who's in it. First person is Jamie Hayter, next is Natsuko Tora, then Sumi Sakai. I believe that is how you say her name. She's from Ring of Honor. And then Alex Garcia. Any match with 2 or more foreigners in it, even though Sakai is I believe, Japanese descendants, she does work for Ring of Honor. So, and she's 47, so she's not exactly the most athletic person. Now, don't get me wrong, she was very, very entertaining. I've loved her in Stardom so far, but you'll get what I'm saying once you watch it. I don't really have too much to say about this match because it was just so, like, here's great, here's bad. It was just in the middle. It was normal. There were as many ups as there were downs, you know, and everything else was just average. The one thing I do remember from the match is that although Sakai is 47, she is still taking things like turnbuckle suplexes from Jamie. And it was a particularly nasty and fast one too. It looked really, really devastating. Like I said, she is really good for her age. Like, she's really good. If she didn't look 47, I wouldn't have believed that she was 47. The match ended with my girl Natsuko Tora pinning Alex Garcia with a top rope frog splash, which I believe is one of Natsuko's finishers. It is pretty interesting that Stardom, basically with this sequence, has stated that Alex Garcia is at the level of being able to be beaten with a signature from a mid-carder. The only other people in Stardom that are at that level right now are the rookies and underage girls. And even most of the underage girls right now are above that level. I'll talk more about that later. But match was just okay. It's not worth skipping or anything like that. It's every match on this show is worth a watch. But if I had to choose one match that was like the least good, it was probably this one. So on to the next match. Next match is a 3-way, and this one actually really confused me when I was looking at the card before watching it. It didn't make much sense why they had this match. It wasn't until I found out that Saki Kashima was injured that this started making sense. This match used to be a tag match between John and Stars, but then with Saki's injury, they had to change it to a 3-way with Leo Onozaki, Junko Kiona, and Starlight Kid. Going into this match, I knew we were going to get some really great sequences from Jungle and Starlight Kid going at each other. But I was really worried about Leo. You see, even before her injury, she wasn't exactly progressing at a rate that I would say the other girls were. She just seemed like she had no natural ability as a wrestler. And since her comeback, she really hasn't done anything to kind of prove that wrong. But before her injury, and even now, she was at the point where if she's in a match with a much better people, like Jungle and Starlight, she does not bring it down. So while she didn't really add too much to this match, she didn't bring it down either. The only thing that I can really remember from her in this match was at the beginning when Jungle was offering a handshake to kind of say, hey, let's team up versus Starlight Kid. She decided to attack Jungle right away. And the way I kind of saw that was a wanting to beat your mentor type thing in a respectful way is the only way I can really describe it. It wasn't any ill will from my perspective. Now I'm going to bring up what I brought up in the last match, is that I have noticed that Starlight Kid has been a lot more involved in her matches lately. I don't know what it's about. I have some theories. I believe that she is no longer a part of the minor group, and that she is now being considered in the main roster by Stardom. Now what I mean by that is Stardom is really split up into two sides to me. There's the main roster, you know, everyone in the top and mid card essentially. Then the other side is, in my opinion, the minors and rookies. They are people that don't really go too hard in matches. They almost never win. They are pretty much feeder or just filler for matches. And up until recently, like the last couple months, I felt like Starlight Kid was still a part of that, even though she had that future belt. But around the time that she lost the future belt is when I started noticing that she has been a lot more involved in these matches. She has been a part of more sequences and not just with Azumi. She has been taking a lot more hard impact moves, and her moves have gotten a lot more crisp and damaging. She's even no-selling rookies, like in a way that you're supposed to. That's not a me ragging on her. She did it in a way that all the upper girls do, and it makes me believe that Stardom has now moved her from the category of minors and rookies, and she is now a part of the main roster. I feel like it doesn't really make sense though, since she still has like a year left of school, or at least getting close to finishing it. I don't really know the Japanese school systems very well, but hopefully that's true, because I would really love to see Starlight Kid with the leash off. You know, I've always felt like she is the one person that has been holding herself back. All of her moves feel pulled. All of her speed, except when she's facing Azumi, has felt like 3/4 or a half of her true speed. And I would love to see her just go full blast, like she did with Hannah. That was amazing. And I feel like we're going to start seeing that more often. The match ended with Junko Kiona submitting Ryo Onozaki with a sharpshooter. I really love this. It goes back to the beginning with Ryo betraying Jungle to try to get one up on her and show what she can do. And it backfired tremendously by being the one that got beaten, and not only beaten but submitted by Jungle, by a move that she rarely ever uses. I know that the sharpshooter is pretty much like her signature for her, but she almost never uses it. Jungle's really not a submission person. So next match. The next match is a match that I was really looking forward to, which is pretty crazy. If you had asked me like 3 or 4 months ago the same thing, I would have been like, no, are you kidding me? It is Hannah Kimura and Bobby versus Tam Nakano and Arisa Hoshiki. This match had so many things that I was looking forward to. First of all, Hannah has been tremendously entertaining lately. She's been so great, and she does really great in this match as well. Tam is always a pleasure to watch. She is just an entertainment personified. She is literally every aspect, like down, pat, down. She does them really well. Then finally at the end is Arisa Hoshiki, which is probably someone who's on the fast track to becoming one of my favorite wrestlers. Everything about her is just perfect to me. She's super cute. Her outfit looks awesome. She wears yellow, which is my favorite color. And she is a striker, which is my favorite type of wrestler. And her personality is super hilarious. Her, like, the way I always described her was that she is a much dumber but more charismatic Mayu. And I feel like that is the perfect description for her. And I love it. Best thing about this match, though, was the dynamic of Tam and Arisa. We all saw this coming if you've been keeping up with Stardom. Tam is not a fan of Arisa in any way, shape, or form. She hates her for some reason. It really hasn't been expressed why yet, but she just hates her. And she is not shy about showing it. She will actively call her out. She will actively call her names. She will hit her. She will not help her when she needs help. It's freaking amazing. It's so hilarious. There is this really cool sequence in the beginning when Arisa is trying to like pump themselves up for a match. And Tam just can't help but bring up the fact that in the earlier show, in the day show, Arisa eliminated herself from the elimination match in a hilarious segment, by the way. It was hilarious. Everyone, even the ref, was just like trying to get her to not do it, but she just did it. And the way Arisa reacts to Tam calling her out in the pre-match promo is just hilarious. Also, another person I've noticed who's been a lot more involved in their matches recently has been Arisa. Her last couple matches, she has been a lot more stiff. The moves she has taken have been a lot more stiff. She just feels like she is becoming more of an actual wrestler for Stardom. For a while there, I didn't really know how serious she was because she wasn't there nearly as much as other people were, and she was very rarely there consistently. She would be there for like 2 shows and miss a show, and then be there for a show, then miss a show. It was really confusing, and it kind of made me think that she was probably focusing more on her music than she was on coming back to wrestling. These last like 3 matches of hers has really shown me that she's serious about this. She is doing phenomenal. And I somewhat hope that this is leading to some kind of title challenge, whether it be Hazuki and the high-speed belt, because they were really going at it in their match, or if it's going to be for, say, Momo's white belt or the red belt. I don't think she's there yet. Yeah, she's not there yet. Anyway, the match ended with Arisa pinning Bobby with her Brazilian kick, which I love this move so much. It just looks so good. I really do. It's probably one of the more favorites of mine from Stardom. Next is Odo Tai versus Queen's Quest. And when these two are in the ring, it never fails to entertain. I don't think there has been a single match where these two teams have met as teams and has let us down. I have enjoyed pretty much every single one of them. They have been feuding for a year or 2 at this point, and it's just been great. The match was on Queen's Quest side, Momo Watanabe, Utami Hayashishita, and Azumi. On Odo Tai's side, it was Kagetsu, Natsu Sumire, and Andres Miyagi. I don't know if I'm saying her first name correctly. It's spelled Andras. Andres, I'm assuming. It seems like Miyagi is going to be a mainstay in Stardom from now on. She has been in numerous matches so far consistently. It doesn't look like, at least anytime soon, that she is going to be signing to Stardom, if ever, because she has posted her schedules on Twitter for the whole month, and she is going to other shows along with Stardom pretty much the entire month. So if she does plan on signing with Stardom, I don't know if it's going to be soon or later or ever. I would like to see her sign to Stardom, but who knows. She has really integrated well within Odo Tai and is able to kind of seem in place with their usual shenanigans. I don't know if this is intended or not, but there seems to be a spot or sequence where whenever Odo Tai goes to hit the people off the apron, like the tag partners, by the time Miyagi gets there, they're already done. This has happened a couple times. I believe it happened in their last match as well. I don't know if it's an intended thing or it's just her not getting the cues or whatnot, but I find it hilarious. If I did have to pick one thing, though, that I didn't like about her as much, it's really not that big of a deal, but it is something that I can nitpick. It is that she doesn't seem like she is really a hard-hitting type of person. Stardom is really known for their hard-hitting and stiff styles, and yet pretty much the majority of her moves always feel held back and or weak in comparison. I don't know if this is just her style and she's always been like that, or if she just doesn't feel comfortable being stiff with these girls without knowing them better or not. I don't know if it's just a trust thing or if this is just how she always wrestles. Either way, not really that big of a deal. Just felt like that's the one thing that kind of bothers me, so might as well bring it up. Another thing I'd like to talk about is, just like with Starlight Kid, I feel like Azumi might be getting the push to the main roster. I kind of felt like ever since she beat Sumire in that singles match, she has joined the main roster, like on the lowest rung pretty much, but she's been a lot more invested in the matches. Like, she has gotten a lot more sequences. When people do beat her, they have to try much harder. Like, she makes them work for the win. She's also no-selling the rookies in spots where the older girls are no-selling the rookies, even though Azumi is much younger than these girls in some instances. I feel like it's going to take a couple more matches before I really can form an opinion on whether Azumi is getting the same treatment as Starlight Kid right now. And talking about Azumi, that's, might as well talk about Sumire, because they're pretty much connected at this point. Sumire pretty much killed it in this match, just like she always does. She super good at comedic values. There's this one screenshot that I'm going to show up on screen of her face after Azumi hit her, and it's just so expressive. No one else is anywhere near her level right now in terms of expressiveness and character work in the ring. It's just phenomenal. The whole match was really amazing, but there was one spot that really made me cringe. There was a moment when Utami was doing a German suplex to Miyagi, and it looked like she landed right on her neck. Like not even just like how you're supposed to, or at least in my opinion, it looked like that. It looked really bad, and I instantly started thinking, oh my God, is she injured? Is she hurt? But then she just got right back up and started wrestling the rest of the match like she didn't just get landed on her neck. So most likely it wasn't that big of a deal, or if it was a mess up, it wasn't a mess up with consequences, or consequences that mean much. So I'm glad she's okay, and it was a really nasty looking spot, honestly. The match ended with Andres Miyagi pinning Azumi after a tombstone piledriver. I don't know too much about Miyagi, but it kind of seems like, at least in Stardom, the piledriver is going to be her finisher. It's a great finisher. Like, honestly, I'm of the opinion that piledrivers shouldn't ever be anything but a finisher. It's just a move that legitimately could kill people and or severely injure them. So to think it could be a move that's just like a transition move is just ridiculous. And I believe this is the second match that she has won with that. And it did make me a little worried that she was doing it on Azumi. It's also another thing that makes me think that Azumi might be getting pushed up to the main card as well, like the main roster. Because it seems odd that they would let someone pile drive a minor. So, yeah. Next match. The next match is what I would call an instant classic. It was a challenge for the Women of Honor Championship title that Mayawati recently got from her stint in America. And Kaname was challenging for it. I loved every single second of this match. Every single thing about it, from the slow build amateur wrestling in the beginning, all the way into I'm trying to kill you moves at the end. They perfected wrestling with this match. It was, and probably is going to be, the match of the year. If it doesn't end up being the match of the year, it is going to at least be in the top 3. At least. I can't see anyone in Stardom, even these two again, because this is really lightning in a bottle, beating this match. So we'll see if they can pull it off. I'm not going to say too much more about this match, just because anything I would say about it just wouldn't be enough credit for it. All I can recommend is that if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Don't wait till the end of this video, because I'm going to spoil the ending. Just go watch it first, because it is amazing. The only thing I would like to talk about, though, is Mayu, although she is regularly considered one of the better wrestlers, even on some people's greatest of the world lists, I don't feel like she gets enough credit for what she does. Her bumping and selling ability is god tier. In this match alone, like just talking about this match, I have never seen bumping and selling from any other wrestler, male or female, that comes close to her. I know a lot of people like to say Ibushi is like the best or whatever, and I can't really speak too much on that because I've only seen a couple of matches of his, but Mayu transcended to another level here. She went Ultra Instinct, okay, from the meme. She was phenomenal. She sold everything absolutely perfectly and believable. And Konami worked with that. It made Konami look like an absolute masterclass, untouchable technician, like she should be. But just because you're amazing at it doesn't mean that you should always win. See, every time Konami would have her in a submission or something, Mayu would try to get out of it in some way and reverse it, but then Konami would just be like, nuh-uh, and then like kind of go with her and then get her back into a submission. It was super good. The match ended with Mayu pinning Konami after a beautiful looking moonsault off the top rope. I believe the moonsault is going to be Mayu's new finisher, other than the dragon suplex. I believe the dragon suplex is probably always going to be her ultimate, but I think I remember her saying something on Twitter or something that she wanted a more grand looking move as a finisher, and I guess she just, after all those years of seeing Io do it, felt like it's her time to start doing the moonsault, because the only other person who does any kind of moonsault in Stardom right now is Starlight Kid, and she hasn't transcended past second rope moonsault. Seriously, it is crazy how these women can just keep putting on amazing matches every week, it seems. They're wrestling all the time, and yet they're still one-upping what they've done before. A lot of people used to think that Stardom was going to start down spiraling after Io left. Honestly, I don't think it's ever been better. Bye.